Hello YouTube, welcome to episode 3 of OP14 Improvement. I know it's been a little bit since the last episode, but with it being Christmas time and I've been a little bit under the weather, I just haven't had as much time to record games and get as many sessions in to find good games. But I did decide to make this video before I got put off for too long. Um, so quick update, I have basically decided, as you see, to stop playing Boa for now. I did say at the start of this series that it's probably between Boa and Emu. And I think with Boa, I've just found that if you don't hit a trigger out of your first two life, it it can be very hard into a lot of decks. As well as the main reason I was considering Boa over Emu was because I thought it would be a popular deck, and I heard it has a good matchup in the Emu. But in the testing that I found on both sides, playing Boa and playing Emu, it doesn't seem that hard for Emu without the EBO3 Nami. It seems like you could just like it seems like the Boa needs pudding plus femur, and hope you break off pudding. Um, one femur, even two femurs, it hasn't been enough in my testing. They need pudding plus the femur. Even if it's a 20k femur, I can usually just live and kill them next turn. So that being said, we're playing Emu again for now, unless I find a list or something with Boa that I like. So here is the list that I played for these games. You have even less room for flex in OP14 with the addition of Ground Death, which is just like a necessary foil for sure. Not only because it's another plus 4K counter, but because OP14 introduced so many cards that have like protection KO. So this lets you get rid of those with Mars, as well as bypass Valkyrie in the mirror, which makes the mirror a lot more interesting about as far as when you go for lethal and when you don't. Um, Here's a list for reference that I played in OP13. We had like 4 or 5 flex spots. I was a big fan of one Stussy. I think in OP14 you only really have two, and I don't think Stussy's as good, but you could still fit it in. I just don't think I would ever choose Stussy over Charlos. Um, so right now I'm on Charlos as my two flex spots. They could be more 2Ks. They could be Stussy. They could be Gripe Event. I really want to try Gripe Event. I think that card's still really good. Only problem is I don't want to play 10 counter events and not have any natural counter in my hand. Um, so for now I'm doing two Charlos, and I do like it. I think it's good against a lot of the meta. Well, I think it's good in the mirror and ace, and it has its moments against other stuff. But yeah, so that's the list and why I'm on two Charlos right now. I think it's Charlos, Stussy, 2K, or Gripe Event are the flex options. Um, I don't think I would do the one cost VV blocker. Just throwing that out there, I suppose. But here's the games for today. We have 4 games, and I don't think there's a ton to point out in these, to be honest. But kind of just wanted to showcase how I'm approaching these new matchups. At the start of this format, and I don't know if it's correct. I don't think other people are quite approaching at least the Mihawk matchup how I have been, but I've been having decent success with it. But I mean, obviously, if I change how I approach, I'll just make a new video on that. Um, but I've had decent success approaching. You'll see, I'm basically approaching the Mihawk matchup like Zoro. So he can do a bunch of resting and making me not rest at Charlos in the future. So I just immediately block. I'm not confident that's correct, to be honest, but like I said, I'm just approaching it like Zoro, and I'm just conceding the fact that I'm not going to have a board in the mid game. Cycling the Saturn I play just full on, trying to keep my hand healthy and stay healthy. I do think a choke of Mihawk, especially when they don't have stage, like this guy obviously doesn't, is having these winnies on the board. So I do make the decision to swing 5 at the Kid Killer, just to get the weenies off the board so I don't have to worry about them later. I do know Shanks is a big reason why this deck was favored into Emu, and a lot of people are not a lot. Shanks is kind of like 50-50 on whether Mihawks are on it, I think, right now. I do expect by Nationals time most will probably be on it. But if he played Shanks there, I don't think I am that concerned. Because honestly, if he, I mean, he probably wouldn't put it sideways, I suppose. But I think he specifically needs like double Shanks to make me care that much. Um, then I think we just play Saturn here and keep plussing our hand. So there's no sketch bottom decking 2 10 cost, but we're playing one next turn and we didn't have a Jupiter yet, I don't believe. So we go ahead and take the Jupiter. And you get a little lucky that it's only a Zoro coming down from that. I don't know what other scarier bodies they could have, but I'm sure Zoro is probably the best for me. And then I believe we're also still missing Workery, so I decide if I need to pitch multiple cards from hand next turn. It's kind of sketchy for having to pitch multiple cards for 10 costs, so I just immediately counter with Jupiter just to get it in trash. That way I can trash a Workery from my hand for 10 costs if I find it. If it comes to that. And then this, he should definitely go 6-7. Haha. Instead of 5-8. And just force another 2K. But we find the Workery cycle. We're a 6K leader, but we won't be if we play 10 costs, so we should swing with our leader first. Swing 6 at 4. If he wants to give 2 cards for that, it's definitely a-okay by me. And we add this because we're still missing another 10 cost, right? I think there's a small argument to pop that Perona since he doesn't have stage, but I decide against it because I think if anything he could just rest this law, and yeah, he doesn't really care about that Perona not being there, so I just save the card in hand. Get a lucky life so I can stay at 2 here. We are, however, missing 10 cost still, so that's a bit of a problem. I swing 12 at 8, may need to play around Paradise Waterfall. I don't want to just, I would like to just poke it down, but because Waterfall's a card, you kind of have to commit early on your first swing. And then once he saves it, I do just go 7, 7, 7, play a Workery pass. I don't think there's actually anything else that can be done this turn. And then this is kind of, I mean, I don't know if he had any options, but I guess he just decides to go for game because he doesn't expect me to have so much natural counter in hand. And he has 2 big swings. But I do the math, he can only swing 14, and I can counter 14, so I just take. And if he wants to commit, he's probably dead. Um, yeah, that I don't think there was too much to be said about that. Just mainly wanted to showcase how I approach the mid game with into this deck because I think if you can just be healthy, I do think Shanks could be a could make that awkward later. But honestly, if they put a Shanks sideways at any point, I'm probably just jamming into it. To be honest, like card needs to go. So that's kind of been my solution when they do play Shanks is just jam it, and they might save it once, but it's not likely they'll be able to save it twice. Um, but yeah, then these next 3 games are against Dofi. Not gonna lie, this matchup seems annoying, but I do think it's favored. Obviously, just go second, play the good stage. We have a really good hand here with Searchers plus 10 cost. We don't need two Saturn in the early to mid game in like any matchup, to be honest. It's outside of Mir. We're obviously taking an 8. I swing 5 before I play Shirahoshi here, just because if I play Shirahoshi and then swing 5, he could counter the 5, and then he could just ignore my Shirahoshi next turn. So I wanted to see if he was going to take the first life like he normally do. This way he does end up swinging at the Shirahoshi, so I save a card instead of him just ignoring it and I lose a card. I think if he's swinging 7, though, it arguably should still be at face, because he does kind of need to kill me, I assume, but we'll see. I've also found that I think this is probably one of, if not the most important matchup to have ground death in early. Because I think having a ground death for their first 5 cost body they play can just snowball the game so hard. And not having it lets them almost snowball it in a way. And then I read this card, I consider KOing it, of course, and then I realize if I KO it, he ramps 2, which is insane. And I don't want him playing 10 cost next turn. I do think maybe I should be okay with him playing 10 cost, because it keeps the board a little controlled, as well as it doesn't really do much. This is like his preferred play anyway, I think, over 10 cost in this spot. So maybe I should just KO it. And then here I start 7 just to see if he wants to start off with his leader effect. I think it's a little greedy. And again, there's another. I think a lot of matchups I do end up cycling for my board just to stay healthy till the late game, but not every matchup and not every time, depending on board state, obviously. I do make the decision to pop Virgo just to make him minus Dawn. I don't think that's correct though, in hindsight. He'd go to 9 Dawn instead of 8. I don't think that makes any difference to us at all. Maybe that would have been a 7 instead of a 6, I guess. But that's like, yeah, I don't think that was correct in the slightest. But so we have no board here. It's kind of awkward because you definitely would like to be wide, but just mid game emu things. For the sugar and he lets it go. Then here I do obviously decide not to pop because he's at 9 Dawn. Let's go 7 minus that so he can't get a free leader effect. Make me swing at nothing. And I decide to only go 7 and leave up all this Dawn so I can cycle away the Saturn and play another Saturn just to keep going plus and adding cards back to my hand. Um, I do think there's an argument to cycle the Venus since it's sideways. But not cycling it just because I forgot these Virgos have this one attacking effect to minus the Venus, basically. So I think I probably should have cycled the Venus, but I don't think it really made a difference either way. And then he can only stop one of these attacks with his leader effect, so we might as well just, standard game plan with Emu, go wide, swing a bunch of 7s. It's annoying because his board is really wide, but he is very low at least. And I go 9. I'm basically just trying not to give him a free leader effect. Like, at least want one card if you leader effect. Because I'm definitely putting him on a clock as far as, like, kill me next turn. Or I'm killing you. Even if he 10 costs, I think our board is wide enough. But if he's at 0, we can usually just do a 2-way split. So beams. It's really fine though, because He has 6 attacks, and we have 3 life plus a blocker, so we have to count it twice. And we have 4K plus 2 2Ks. Like it's not, we're in no danger. There is a theoretical world where I don't even think I don't think there's anything he could do here to win. He goes 9. I'm just gonna block, just like get him to go for it or stay healthy. If he doesn't, it's 10, take, and then counter, and it's yeah. I think if you win dice roll, that's like kind of standard. If I had ground death, I think we snowball that game a lot harder. So I am kind of trying to hurry through this because it's Christmas Eve and about to go spend the day with my family and probably all tomorrow too. So like kind of rushing this out there. So sorry if the quality is a little less than normal. Like I said, I haven't had a lot of time to find good games, so I'm just showcasing the deck change that I've decided to make, as well as how I'm approaching the new matchups, at least at the start of the format, and we'll see if I, change them. I'll give a 2K there over these, and then over those because I think those have purpose for the rest of the game. And then this guy just, he opened the nuts. So he won dice roll. It's the same guy. He won dice roll this time, and he went second, and he saw Dillinger plus double sugar, and I am cooked. I think from this, as soon as I saw that, I felt like I had no chance to win this game. That's so much card advantage, so much tempo. But obviously, we play it out. We see what we can do. 5 at sugar, he lets it go. I consider not swinging after he lets it go for like a brief second, but then it's like, obviously, I kind of need to swing. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just not swing, but I don't know. Having this Virgo out this early is annoying. Maybe I should just not swing there once he lets the first one go. And once again, though, if I had Ground Death plus Mars, I think we're in a good spot. I think having Ground Death for the early, for the first Virgo is pretty important as far as making sure they don't snowball them. But we Saturn, we find Mars. But we don't have the Dawn to Ground Death, obviously. But I do decide, once again, I think incorrectly, to Mars this Virgo so he doesn't go to Tendon. At least this time it did actually keep him off Tendon, but I just don't think I care if he 10 costs here, right? Like I think he would much rather play another Dofi than 10 cost. So I think I'm just wasting a card for no reason, to be honest. I'm just staying healthy. Just poking, poking. I go with Saturn just to help me find another 10 cost for next turn. So I don't have one. And I go 9 so he doesn't get a free block. Um, I do think arguably he's gonna, even if I swing 7, he'll redirect into that Monet over the Dofi anyway. So I do think arguably I should just like play Warkuri, swing 7 and play Warkuri over Saturn or something. But and then I did the brain fart and immediately counter with the Saturn without thinking about the fact that my plan was to play another 10 cost. Just a big brain fart. But we do get lucky and find one. Then take the 2. Then I think so. I decided to swing 7 first just because I'm considering not activating 10 cost this turn. I'm considering just playing 10 cost and another Warkuri. I think that might have been better, but I do end up deciding. I think 10 cost plus Warkey would have been the better line, to be honest. But because if he didn't use leader effect yet, think I definitely would have. But because he already used leader effect, I think I really wanted to get another swing in, basically, which I think was really greedy. Only have one option to take there, which is unfortunate. I decided to make him Dawn minus even more. Again, I think it's a waste. I think I wasted 2 cards so far this game doing that. I think I wasted 2 cards last game doing it as well. I think I need to be smarter about when I decide to pop these Virgos just to make him Dawn minus. Um, yeah, so we find another ground death. We're just trying to stay healthy now. Because we definitely have to play for another turn. In my opinion, we did at least. I do think maybe there was an argument that our only win con here was to just go to 0 and stay 4 wide. If we stay 4 wide, we can ground death this baby 5 so it doesn't heal him a life. And then we have 5, 6 swings, and he has to counter a bunch of them. I think that was the better line, was just take the 0 and go for lethal. I am curious. I also think that means this swing should have been at life, to be honest. Um, I just didn't have the foresight. And it did eliminate a swing, so it's like kind of okay, but not great. Okay, and then we did actually draw the 4K vent off the Warcree, which is something. But even if we decided to take that one, we'd have 3 swings, we'd have 5 swings. He can stop 1, so he has to counter 2. I mean, he has a healthy hand, but making him counter 2 swings might have just been the better line. And going for lethal with ground death on the baby 5. But it's definitely rough. Like I said, his start, losing dice roll and then getting Dellinger plus double sugar or whatever, definitely rough. Definitely the nuts from him. But yeah, so I'm obviously just playing for another turn at this point. I considered ground deathing this baby 5, but I don't think. I also think I should have got rid of 10 cost. I don't think we're ever playing for another turn here. But I don't think it really. I think I considered it, and then I remembered Virgo saves it. I think I should have got rid of 10 cost here and just kept a bunch of Dawn up. And then once again, I'm wasting cards, and I'm still keeping 10 costs. It's just bad. Um, then I gave him a free life. I think I should have not swung with this as well. Just counting for it like it's my life. And then here I consider and decide not to. And then I'm deciding whether or not it is worth saving ground death for another baby 5, or if the extra swing is better. And I chose the extra swing, but I think it's just correct to. The extra swing is like one swing, right? But baby 5 is also. I think it's correct to just ground death the baby 5, but I'm not. So, I don't. I'm not positive. Sorry, my brain's not entirely working right now as far as the math on that is concerned. Once he blocks my first 7, I swung 7 and then cycled it because I thought I didn't keep track of my deck entirely, but I thought there was a decent chance I'd draw into ground death. So if he doesn't block the first 7, and if that's the case, I should like quote unquote go for it and cycle from hand, right? But I wasn't convinced that it was there, and I didn't remember exactly. Um, and I wasn't sure if I was going for it. And then I do decide to I guess I should have swung Warcry first, but that's also being. I think I was kind of cooked no matter what I did at this point. Then once this Saturn whiffs, I'm definitely cooked. Because even if two bodies die here somehow, like we're never living a three-way split. Well, I say that. I say that. I think I did rush it a little bit. Because if I theoretically get to draw one off Warcry, I guess I could. Um, because he's so honestly, I think I probably would have won this game if I was good. If I just didn't, I don't. I just realized this, but I think I was fine actually because I was drawing Ground Death off Warcury. He's going to 9 Dawn, so he can't 10 cost. Again, I think I played this game very terribly, but that's what it's for. It's for learning. So he can't 10 cost. So if I play it safe and kill the two Virgos, 5, 15, 24 plus 9, 33. So 11, 11, 11. We actually live with Ground Death. Um, if he starts like 9, then I suppose we die, but that's a weird start, I think, when I have Dawn up. But maybe not. I don't know. I think I played this game bad and I could have. I think I probably win if I just do the if I just play it out. He has 1k counter in hand, I think, and he's already used leader effect, so I could have just swung like I don't know. I don't think this is what I would have done. I probably would have went like 7 into Virgo. I mean, it's kind of cooked if he saves any of these wins. So if we're being max efficiency, it's probably 8 into 5 and 10 into 7, just to make sure both of those bodies die. Yeah, I don't know. Bad plays, bad decisions, learning. So these are four. And again, another reason I started the series is so I'll actually be incentivized to watch my own games back and learn for them as well. Because normally I would not watch these back. I kind of stopped watching my own games a long time ago, but I think it's good to do so. So doing this kind of helps get back into it. Um, Another Dofi, a different one this time. We win dice. Go second. I do mess up here again. I think pretty sure I end up just floating one for no reason. I should have just played Shirahoshi, like for sure. Um, then you will see I'm fine with bottom decking. If I have a 10 cost in hand already and my 4 Dawn searches another 10 cost, I'm usually very happy to put that on the bottom. Because if it's your first search, you'll probably get back to it by the time you need it. Most of the time. Um, Once again, no ground death plus Mars. Unfortunate. And once again, can't really pop this Monet. Just because he'll go to 10 Dawn that fast, and I think that's too much. But that being said, it's kind of similar to before, where maybe I should be okay with him with just like keeping the board clear and popping it, because he's gonna either way just play the 8 cost Dofi next turn, right? So, but in the moment, I decide I don't want to kill it. It's still probably the correct play, but I don't think it's the worst idea to kill it. And then I do decide to just be hella aggressive. I could have played a Warcury, but if I'm expecting him to tap out next turn, then I can just defend these swings very easily and just get more swings at him, right? Just to be aggressive and shorten his hand size, accelerate the game. Dofi Sugar, so that's pretty good for us that it's not straight up a Virgo, I think. But at the same time, it's like awkward because it basically is. I don't know. I think. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't just. I guess he just wanted to have a target to direct stuff into. I don't know. I don't know if playing that is better than just playing Virgo. I'm sorry, my brain's not entirely functioning right now. So I'm a little under the weather. Swing 8, play Warcree, float 2. Once again, having a Ground Death Mars for the first Virgo, I think is just like very important. I think as far as game state and snowballing everything goes. And then I'm considering how I want to play this. He's already at 2 life and 5 in hand. So I'm definitely like trying to put the pressure on. But I decided I want to put the pressure on his hand instead of his life, which I think isn't the worst idea. But I still think this 7 should probably go at life. And if he takes, then we probably just continue at life. And if he ever get like saves but defends that 7, then we probably just stop right there, right? Um. So I think it was the 7 should have been at life for sure. Then we play, but we just get 3 cards out of hand, and then we just end up not swinging because he hasn't used leader effect yet, so he could just make it free into one of the Dofis. I'm just literally staying healthy as possible. If he had 10 costs in that spot, I think this could have been a little sketchy. Um, but luckily he didn't. Luckily he didn't. Like I said, I think if we hit his life last turn, 10 costs might not be as sketchy, but it definitely pays off this turn that we just hit his board because now we're just cleaning up. 7 at 5, he protects and he wants to draw a card basically. That's perfectly fine. As soon as I decide to pressure these down, as soon as one of these dies, I can just ground death plus 10 cost the other one. And it's very fine for me. Then I'm deciding if I want to keep hitting his board or if I commit to life at this point. So I decided to just do a little check swing with my leader. I just go 6 at this life with my leader. I'm just asking for 1 card, but if he gives me that 1 card right, then I am just gonna like really hit his board and give him no win condition. But so I go 6 and he takes. I go 7, he takes, and now it's just gonna pop that 10 cost, add 10 cost, trash this just in case we need to play another one. Then I do decide to just go 8, float 2 for my 2 events. And he actually had double slow. So he's going for it, right? Which obviously he has to. Maybe I shouldn't have even swung, but same time we have double 4K event. We're never dead here. So I'm just gonna take the first 2 because it doesn't matter when we have all this counter. I think there's definitely a lot of refining to do in how I'm playing approaching these matchups. And I think the way I'm approaching them right now is punishable if they see specific cards on specific turns. But I'm not. So far, it's worked most of the time and been fine. So until it stops working, I kind of just stick with it usually until I'm shown why it's bad. Hence, that's kind of what happened when I've in against Ace for me with this deck in OP13 because I definitely play the Ace matchup differently than other people. but I found it work for me. Um, so I just haven't really switched it up. Um, but yeah, so that's how I've been approaching Dofi and Mihawk at the start of this format. Again, sorry it's been so long. Sorry this video is probably a little less lower quality than standard. My brain's not entirely functioning, but I wanted to get out there, give a little update, and showcase where I'm currently at in OP14 because obviously some progress has been made as far as deck choice and you know matchups. Again, any questions, input, whatever, feel free to leave in the comments. Um, and Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or just enjoy your day. Uh, Appreciate y'all for watching. Peace.